Well, hello there. This is a strange opening scene for my channel, but I am here to do an unboxing today. Last week, I managed to find an opportunity to buy my Grail fountain pen, which, if you don't know, a Grail fountain pen is like your holy grail, your ultimate fountain pen. If you could have any fountain pen. I had spotted this one several months ago, and it was just not in my price range, but I didn't realize there were different versions, which I'll get into in a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and open this box. I think it certainly contains the pen and a bottle of ink and also a few ink samples from Troublemaker inks. The seller was extremely kind. He shipped it the next day, and he was very, very sweet about the whole thing. And I'm just super excited. So let me see what's in here. Paperwork, I think. So we have, wow, that's gorgeous. Oh, wow, it came with writing paper. Oh my goodness. So this is washi paper, and those are gold and silver flecks in the paper. Oh my goodness. That is gorgeous. Wow. And it came with some Sailor cartridges. Now, this pen was manufactured in 2009, I think, so these may not be any good, although they look okay. We'll see. I probably won't use them. And it comes with a little polishing cloth. Here is the pen, and it comes with a bottle of ink. I'm assuming this is Sailor Gentle Black. And so this is the logo that was on, oh, goes this way. This is the logo that was on all the materials, and I think it's the Prime Minister's or government logo at the time. Maybe I need to figure out what that is. But this is all part of this special edition. And here is the beautiful pen. It is exactly as I imagined. So this is a Sailor Pro Gear model, and there have been commercial versions of this pen made in the King of Pen 1911 model, which has the cigar shape. These, from what I understand, this design was only made in the Pro Gear designs, which have the flat top and bottom. I believe that these were only made for the Prime Minister's gift. So let me explain what these pens are about. My details are vague, so please don't blast me in the comments if I get something wrong. But essentially, there were quite a few veterans of World War II who were interred in camps after the war by Russia. And when they came back, they were largely ignored, not taken care of, and not recognized for their service. And so the Prime Minister commissioned a bunch of things to be gifted to these veterans. The fountain pens were one option. There were also like vacations and expensive things. I mean, they were not inexpensive. And so a relatively small number of these pens were made, and they're particularly unique because they have the logo, and then they also have the letters here in Japanese, not Chinese. And I do not know what those mean yet. I will find that out. But essentially, this design is called Sakura Nagare, which is Sakura blossoms in a river or creek, I think, or flowing. So this portion of the design is meant to be water, and it's supposed to have Sakura blossoms floating in the water. And so this part is gold flake, and this part is rodden. I'm gonna open this baby up. And here is our nib. So you can see it's engraved. This is a 21 karat nib in a medium size. You probably can't see, but there's an HM there, which stands for hard medium. And From what I understand, this pen is unused, and it certainly is very clean, if not unused. O-ring is intact. Comes with a cartridge, which, well, that's interesting. Okay. There's some kind of substance in here. I don't know what it is. I think it's fine. Maybe it's a coating that has come loose. I'm not sure. Bit hard to tell. Converter. Oh, wow. Okay. Converter needs to be cleaned. It has completely, yeah. So all this stuff in here is gunk of some sort. So definitely needs some cleaning, but it's functional, so that's fine. That's interesting. I'm just checking to see if there's, yeah, I don't think there's more of that stuff on the inside of the pen. I'm not going to put that converter back in because I'm a little bit worried. The previous owner of this pen said that he had not used it, and to his knowledge it's brand new. Has never been used, and it certainly seems to be the case, or is very well taken care of. And I love how when you tighten it properly, the pattern lines up perfectly between the cap and barrel. I mean, the details are just stunning. So for size comparison, this is a Sailor Pro Gear Slim, and this is a Sailor Pro Gear. So the Pro Gear is a tiny bit longer and a tiny bit wider as well. These pens also have a different ring on the cap. This is Sailor's standard design. It's kind of got a gold band and then a translucent section, and then the Sailor etching on the gold ring, and then there's a little bit more of the plastic cap. And this pen has all gold in this area. So what I'm gonna do is get out my ink book and we'll swatch those Troublemaker inks. This is my ink book. I've shown it a couple times, but just to give you a quick flip. This is Tomoe River paper. This is a book that I made myself, hand bound. And so I've got all of my ink samples in here, some of them twice. So let's go to the next page. So I like to use the Versa Magic stamp pads because they don't bleed through Tomoe River paper. And this is a stamp that I made myself. So I'm just gonna stamp some new little ink bottles on here and let that dry. And this color, in case you're interested, is called Wheat. I switched this color. I was using blacks and grays before. I switched to this color, I switched to this color because it's lighter and it tends to not show through and be as distracting on the opposite side of the page. So that's why I've been using that. So I'm going to give this a minute to dry and get myself organized, and I will be right back. Alright, so I'm going to give that a couple more minutes to dry, but I'm going to ink up this pen. And some of you may be thinking that this is nuts, and I would tell you, what is a fountain pen when it's not used? And the answer is a very pretty and expensive piece of decoration, and I'm not all about that. So here we go. This, by the way, is a different, it's a Sailor cartridge, but it's a new one that from one of my other pens. I need to clean the other one. I'm not totally trusting it, so I'm just gonna use this one instead. That's all it takes. Pen is inked. I'm just gonna let that sit for a minute. So anyway, this is inked. I'm just gonna let it sit for a minute while I do the other swatches. And the ink that I put in it was Sailor Manyo Kikyu, which is my all-time favorite day-to-day ink. It's beautiful, it sheens, it shades, it's got kind of all the features, and it's a really gorgeous deep blue color. It's not like a chalky blue like a lot of other blue blacks. It's a really deep, rich blue. So that's why I like that. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch these troublemaker inks that he sent to me. So we have Abalone, Blueberry, and Milky Ocean. Milky Ocean sounds the most interesting, so I'm gonna start there. I'm using my Kakimori steel nib, which is really handy because it gives you lots of different options for line weight and variation. So you can get a nice swatch, but you can also get decent writing. My only issue with this nib sometimes is that it kind of, it can be kind of a thick line sometimes. So I like to try to do a few different line widths just to see what it looks like at different size pens. And this is a sample. So that is the first one. And just between each color, I'm just rinsing my pen in a cup of water I've got to the side there. It's really important to make sure you get all of the water out of the nib of your pen, because if you don't, it'll water down your next sample. All right, this is Abalone. You can really see the color separation in that ink. It's really nice. Oh, it's also a really interesting color. It's close, but not close at the same time. It's a blue and purple with a little bit of green in it, maybe. And this last one is Blueberry. I think you can see here, contrary to popular opinion, some inks do bleed. These happen to be Noodler's electric or neon colors, just so you know. This Blueberry shade I can already tell I'm going to love. Yeah, it's my first black. That's really nice. That is almost an exact match for Kikyu, actually, which is not a bad thing. So that's a really beautiful sheening ink. It sheens purple on top of the blue. It does remind me of Kikyu, but it's got a stronger sheen. It could be closer to like Skull and Roses by Diamine. I have some of that too. It's pretty close. Oh, and I skipped a line. Whoops. So this is the Troublemaker Abalone, and this is the Milky Ocean. Both are really beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna set that aside to dry for a while. All right, so those ink samples I've set aside to dry, and there is nothing left to do at this point but to get this pen writing on the page. So sometimes you can juice your pens. This is a little pen tip for everyone. You can juice your pen just by twisting the converter down a little bit, and it will push that ink down into the nib. Just go slow. All right. And you can do it up and down a couple times just to get the ink moving. And you probably can't see, well, you definitely can't see because there's shadows, but I can see that there's ink coming down into the nib. So after you've done that a couple times, pull the plunger back up so that the ink isn't all pooled into your nib. And if the ink doesn't start flowing soon, it'll just take a minute from here. Okay, we're good. So this pen nib is a medium. It is a little bit broad for my taste. I usually use a medium fine, but I think I can still be happy with this. And if it really, really bugs me, I can get it ground down a little bit. But I think I'm just gonna keep using it like this for a while and see how I feel about it. It writes beautifully. I don't think I mentioned, so this pen is called the Prime Minister's Consolation Gift, for the reasons I explained before. So if there are two different versions, there's a King of Pen model that has the cigar shape and that's being commercially sold by your average pen store, and these are the actual pens that were gifted to the veterans. So these have never been on the public market. They were privately sold. So it's kind of sad that this person's family sold the pen, I'm sure, after they passed away. But at the same time, it's nice that the pens are getting to see the light of day by other owners, and we can learn the stories and understand the history. So that's nice. So there we go. There is my Grail pen and some ink samples. I hope you enjoyed this. I am thrilled beyond belief to have this pen in my possession, and I'm really looking forward to using it on a regular basis. If anybody has any questions, or if you have more information about this story, I would love to hear about it in the comments. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed seeing this rare pen, and I will see you all soon. Bye.